So good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
All right. I am Dr. Tara White, and I'm here with these lovely descendants of amazing African American blues artists and blues pioneers. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the semicircle and have all of these amazing people introduce themselves, and then we'll get into the conversation, right? Because we're looking for, or we will be looking at, not just their own specific memories and their own specific experiences, but also what it means, right, to have this amazing legacy, because they all have an amazing legacy. And they all carry an amazing legacy, let me say that. But the other thing that I want to, I do want to kind of talk about the state of, we're in Mississippi. Mississippi actually markets as blues culture and blues tourism, so I want them to talk about that as well and what they feel about it, but also how they would make this different. Okay? All right? Okay. So we're going to start on this end with this lovely, lovely young lady.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Mississippi if you're not from here. I am Vera Johnson Collins. I am the niece of legendary blues artist Tommy Johnson, and also the CFLO of the Tommy Johnson Blues Foundation, founded in 2005.
My name is Mary Frances Hurd. I am the founder of the Mississippi John Hurt Foundation, and most of you know me that Daddy John, I try to reserve Daddy John's legacy, Mississippi John Hurt, and it's so glad that you guys are here. Thank you so much for coming.
Good morning, afternoon. Is it afternoon? Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Burse Wesson. I'm the granddaughter of Charlie Burse, Beale Street legend, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, my name is Carroline Shines Edwards. I'm the daughter of the late legendary Johnny Shines, also the founder of the Johnny Shines Blues Foundation, also on the board of the Alabama Blues Project, where we teach kids about the blues and origin of the blues and social skills.
Okay, we'd like to say good evening to everyone. I am Tracy Cusic. I am the son of the legendary blues singer, Mr. Eddie Cusic, and I'm just happy to be here to talk about the blues.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for being here, all of you.
So this is an amazing, this right here, guys, is historic in itself. This is a historic gathering in itself. So thank you again for coming out. Again, I want to start very broadly, and I'm going to go around the circle, well, semicircle this way first, and then I'll go back the other way. So what is your earliest memory of the blues and blues culture?
Well, I think my earliest memory probably was in the womb, because my father was Tommy's brother, and they always was playing the blues even before I got here. But by the time I was 3 years old, I remember a time when they was on a street in Camp Street, in which Mark Swarzese did the last of the Mississippi Juke Joints, and was talking about Muddy Waters and all of these different artists that visit Camp Street in Crystal Springs. This was the hub for the blues legends. This is where everybody came to play their blues and have a good time, eat fish and fried fish and whatever. But I remember being on Camp Street, and my mom used to always keep us in the car because it would always get raided, because they would be over there at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. People want to go to bed. So my earliest recollection of the blues was when I was about 3 years old. The police came on Camp Street and raided it. My daddy came out with his guitars running, didn't start the car because it was up on a big old steep hill, and he put it in neutral and told us don't say nothing and just pushed it till it got to the bottom of the hill, and then it went on top of the other hill, and by the time everything busted out, we was at home in bed when the police got there. So by Crystal Springs being the hub, one of the hubs for blues singers, I got a taste of it very young.
Now, for the audience, where is Crystal Springs?
Crystal Springs is south of Jackson, south of Terry, Mississippi. It sits between Terry and Terry and Hazelhurst, Mississippi.
All righty. So, Miss Mary Frances.
Wow. Oh, gosh. I have been exposed to music all of my life. And,
What's your earliest memory?
oh, gosh. I would say when I would say 4. When I really, as music I was in paper, when I really just really had an interest in the music per se, I was more intrigued about, my grandfather used to, he was the musician of Avalon, and he did all of the funerals, all of the whatever there was, any type of entertainment, and because most of the people that in my neighborhood or in Avalon were sharecroppers, and those people work 6 long days a week, and so on Saturday, Daddy John would be at the store, at the Avalon store, and while those people would come to the store, Daddy John would entertain those people. And on Sunday, we had a big mulberry tree in our yard, and all of the people that was down the road from us, and my father would set the stage for him, which was this big mulberry tree, and he would set his straight back chair and a bowl of peanuts on the right, and something in a bag on the left, and then John would come down every Sunday. He would play around for all the kids in the community, and chicken and whatever, and some gospel song, and then he'd shoo us away, and then all the other people would gather around, and it was like a reunion all the time, every Sunday. So it went.
Now, I want you to clarify something. Something in a bag.
It was whenever, if it wasn't there, y'all would stand out at a distance, like, and he was like, and Dad would put his bag there, and his peanuts there, and his.
And brown paper bag, and it was, I would say in my good Alabama, something to drink.
Something right.
Moonshine. Something to drink.
Okay, my earliest memory would actually be at 3. My grandfather and my grandmother, Charlie Burse and Bertie, lived on Decatur, and he had his jobs, but his thing was music. So every night, you think he didn't get any sleep, he'd go down on Beale Street, and he'd play his banjo thing, his ukulele, and he'd just play. But the first thing I can remember is my grandmother had a muscadine tree, muscadine vine, growing all along this little wooden fence, all up and down. And that's the only way my grandfather could keep us out of his hair when he was playing music, because you know, children like music, we go up there and we try to touch the ukulele, we try to climb up on his lap. But I remember he would purposely sit us by this muscadine vine, and all he had to do was, you know, a child, give you a bite of one. And you just, it's like you were in heaven. You enjoyed the music, and we were just sitting there rocking in those little chairs and eating muscadines. And I remember a song he was singing about babies be quiet. Babies be quiet. I can't remember how it really went, but I do remember there was like, babies be quiet. And I remember when we got up out that chair, and we were purple, because muscadines turned literally like ink. We were all purple in our mouth, our clothes was purple. And my grandmother ran out there, and she was like, what are you doing out there? Why are you doing this? And he was like, Bertie, leave these babies alone. They dancing. We were just dancing. And she didn't like the blues. She liked the gospel. She liked the blues. And she said, they all going to hell. You gonna send my babies to hell? All of a sudden, my granddaddy, I remember, started singing, "Woman, be quiet, go back in the house." It left us and went straight to my grandmama. But we danced and danced, and we were purple. Of course, we almost got a whipping because we were purple. My granddaddy saved us. But he just loved his blues, and it was all like a part of his life. It was like who he grew to be. You know, and from that point on, the legacy continued.
Okay. Well, I was young. I was very young. We came from Chicago when I was 3. And I had no idea that the other kids in the house wasn't my sisters and brothers. My dad was married before he married my mother. And she had 11 kids. The 11th child killed her. And when we moved to Alabama, all the kids moved, also. So I had no idea that these was my nieces and nephews, and I was their aunt. I thought this was my brothers and sisters. So they called my dad Papa. So I called him Papa too, till I learned different. And I remember my dad, we only saw my dad maybe once or twice a year because he was on the road. He was in Europe or Japan or Belgium, Germany, or something like that. And he would come home for Christmas and Thanksgiving. But I always knew when he came home because he played, I guess it's pinochle. And I would hear the cars, and if I heard that, then I knew Daddy was at home. Or either he was sharpening his knife on a rock.
Oh, we lost the sound.
Okay, we'll continue. I hear him sliding his knife along that rock, that sharpening rock. So that gave me an indication that Dad was at home, and he always came home. He usually was late at night, something like that. And as far as the music, my dad always played music on the front porch. If you sit on the front porch, you have those iron swings, and he would be bumping that swing. He'd be playing, and you look around, the yard would be full of people. When I was a little child, very little child, he would take me from school to school, and he would play the blues in the school for the children. And by my dad being a black man, not knowing how to get grants and this, that, and the other, it was just something that he did. But, as we got older, we found out about grants and different things like that. And as far as his music, it was always music there. His band would sleep on the living room floor. Or just little things like that. I remember the bass drum, and it was Johnny Shines and the All-Stars. And that's how you basically learn to read, and I had a nanny that would teach me things, and stuff like that. Because like I said, the other kids was older than me, so they didn't really have time, but he hired a nanny to teach me what I need to know. And by him playing music, I guess we just fell in love with music, and we had Sonny and Cher, and we had the guy that used to do the bubbles or whatever on his show. Lawrence Welk. Lawrence Welk was my favorite. Everybody else, because we had Soul Train that came along, and we had American Bandstand, but Lawrence Welk was my favorite. And we were sitting in a room one day, and I would never forget it, in my bedroom, and whatever those people were singing, I was singing it too. And he said, "You got it. You got it. You're going to make something like yourself. You got it." And so, like I said, we always grew up with music. Howlin' Wolf, Robert Johnson, called my dad the Little Wolf. So, I guess like everybody else all my life.
And clarify for the audience, you said in Alabama, where in Alabama?
Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Roll Tide. So, that's us.
Y'all hear this, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, my earliest recollection of the blues would be in the hellhole of the Mississippi Delta, a place called Leland, Mississippi. My earliest recollection of the blues, I cannot give you an age. My earliest recollection of the blues, I could go back and say, has been ever since I could see. Ever since I could hear, ever since I could touch, I remember the blues. And that was my earliest recollection of the blues. And speaking of the blues is a feeling
That's right.
that runs from heart to heart, and the blues trickles down from generation to generation. I can remember my father as I would run up, and him and the late James Son Thomas. They would be playing together in the living room. Him and Mr. Joe Cooper, they would be sliding the brooms on what you would call the wooden floors. As I look at the stage that we're on today, I cannot help but to think about the shotgun houses that were in the neighborhood that I grew up in until I was about 6 years old. And the whole neighborhood was introduced to the blues when those old hard-working men would sit out on the porch with possibly an acoustic style guitar, and they would start singing those songs like, "Hey baby, don't you want to go back to that sweet old home called Chicago?" And little kids would be dancing around the front porches of these houses. And that is my earliest recollection of the blues. And not only did I get a recollection of the blues trickles down from generation to generation. It has trickled down to me and even to my children, which are the sons of the late legendary Mr. Eddie Cusic.